Well, hello again, Wheatley Baptist Church. It's Pastor Dave and Brian Walker, who chairs our finance team and acts as our treasurer too. And we had promised you earlier that we wanted to be specific about giving you an update as we moved into the end of summer and early fall. And Brian's been working on some of our numbers to give us a bit of an idea about what the year looks like so far and where we might project some things to come for our ministry from a financial point of view. So Brian, thanks for taking time to come and bring us an update. And as always, thanks so much for your service too. You work hard for us in that regard. So I know you've done a lot of work on just kind of looking at our current state, and
right.
Particularly with the unprecedented nature of 2020, that's took some extra thinking and maybe some creative thinking on your part and the team's part too. So would you just give us a bit of a current status, if you would, for Wheatley Baptist Church?
Well, looking at the income side, we had originally been very optimistic in our budget of a $110,000 for gifts and offerings. And I think we knew that was going to be a stretch because everyone has been suffering from the effects of COVID-19 in one way, shape, or form. But we're forecasting $93,000. At the end of August, we're sitting at $67,000, and based on what we've seen coming in on a regular monthly basis, we feel that $93,000 is realistic. We also had the benefit of this year, we've received a very generous estate bequest of $10,000. So that also comes into play to help. But what we're looking at based on our forecast, we're still forecasting a slight surplus of income over expenses. And part of that as well is we're still looking very much at trying to control expenses wherever we can. So I have to say how encouraged we have been as council team as to the uptake by our members and adherents to electronic giving, and we're seeing those regular deposits on a monthly, weekly, bi-weekly basis, and that is so encouraging because it came on us so quickly, and thanks to Pastor Dave pulling a lot of his technological experience together to help us get a lot of this stuff up and running. So it has been working very well. I know a couple of questions that may come up. You'll recall we had the membership approve a $20,000 expenditure from the capital funds towards new carpeting in the main area here at the lobby and the hallway of the church, and also for upgrading our lighting to more energy efficient means. For those who have been able to get out to church on Sunday mornings, you'll see that the carpeting and the painting's all done now. And we are still planning to proceed with the lighting project. In fact, we're hoping to have that done by the end of the year. So if you've been into the church and looking for new lighting up, it's not done yet, but we're working very much towards having that done before the end of the year.
Good.
So yeah, I'm really pleased with where we stand right now, considering everything we've been through this year.
Yeah, it really is encouraging. I want to encourage you folks too that your resiliency, your ability to adopt online giving, and frankly, just your generosity. And, generosity isn't just the dollars. It's you being willing to be flexible and take on some of these new approaches, and you have been so supportive about that. So we want to say thank you. But also, I heard Brian say we're being diligent too in trying to find ways, and this lighting example is a really good example of that, of trying to reduce expenses where we can, such that even with the year that is 2020, we still are projecting at this point to come in with a slight surplus over. So a lot of that has to do with you and your generosity. So folks, thank you for that very much. I know on the other side, we talked a little bit about projected outcome. Is there anything specific, or is there any areas maybe that you would want to highlight as far as outcome that may impact folks? Or
Well, I think one of the things that people are probably aware of, but we've incurred some expenses with regards to bringing live streaming of and I think we've got, a couple of weeks under our belt now with live streaming.
we do, yeah.
Pastor Dave has been spending a lot of time recording a service prior to presenting a service on Sundays live now, and but with the live streaming, of course, there's been some equipment and requirements for that. But Dave, I think you've got some statistics about the number of people actually utilizing that online streaming.
Yeah, for those of you that are doing that, we've kind of moved away from Facebook to YouTube. And one of the things using YouTube specifically, not to get too technical, but it really lets us watch who's watching, how many people are watching, when they're watching. And, a couple of things that I say to council, and we're talking about this all the time. One is, we were having, at the height of COVID, and a lot of churches experienced this, we were having several hundred people look in on our Facebook service and the recordings that we were putting up there at the time. But when I looked at people that were going to our website and watching our service for an extended period of time, that was usually kind of somewhere between 60 and 100 people on special occasions, or if there was something going on in the news around COVID, you could kind of watch the numbers do that, quite honestly. But in the last few weeks since we have been live streaming, it's been interesting to me that we're averaging about 30 people in the building for our attendance, but our online viewing has not dropped off. And a lot of that viewing, some of you have heard me say this too, actually happens during the week. So we would get more people that watch our service from Monday to Friday that actually come on and watch it on a Sunday morning, especially since we've started live streaming and opened up the building. That's really true. And so we're seeing a lot of people either watch during the week or come back and watch again, because there's a few of those things. We can see how many times that they have been there. So those, I'm a little bit biased, but I think those expenditures, if we look at it from trying to get the gospel out and trying to advance the kingdom, have been good uses of funds, Brian.
Oh, absolutely. Because when you look at what we've been through and the regulations that are out there, without that technology, there would have been nothing available for our members.
Yeah.
So
that's an unfortunate reality for more churches than we'd like to admit, and that's not the case for us. So we're blessed there for sure.
Very much so.
Yeah. Brian, you and I have also talked about Gift Day.
Yes.
And about how we know that's coming up in the life of our church calendar and in our church budget. And we wanted to do maybe a little bit more during this opportunity to give the congregation update, to kind of set the stage for some of the opportunities that are coming to us with Gift Day in that part of our church life together.
So I think everyone's aware that Gift Day has been viewed differently. We've seen different variations of it over the years. But COVID-19 has brought a lot to light with regards to potential needs. And, you know, I think back to last year where we gave half of the gift day offerings went to our capital fund, and half went to missions.
Yeah.
And just brief discussions at council, as we look around our own communities, and still with a concern that we may see another surge in cases, but definitely we can see that we're going to see an increased demand on organizations providing services in our own community. And we want to be very deliberate about letting the members and adherents know where gift day funds are going to go. And I think we've identified that this year specifically, we look at some of the missions that we support locally. NeighborLink, which provides housing, not housing, but furnishings and transportation and everything for people. And also Matthew House, which we've supported both as a Western association and as a church, and we still do, to a very limited level. But Matthew House especially is a mission that has gone through a huge transition over the last 12 to 18 months, and they have some very specific needs, and COVID-19 has really, I think, heightened those more than anything. So those are kind of on our pick list at this point in time. We'd also like feedback from the congregation as to what they would like to or if they have ideas about other causes that we could support. We'd like to hear about those as well, and we will get back to the membership before the gift day comes, so that people know specifically where their gift day givings are going to be directed. And I can pretty much assure you that none of those gift day givings this year will go to the capital account or to operating funds. We are very much directed this year that those gifts that are made by our members and adherents will go to worthy causes within our local community. Not that we don't want to discount our long history of support of overseas missions and everything else. We still have those. But this year, I think specifically, the needs that we see within our own communities are going to be very much at the forefront, and we want to be there to support those.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's just to echo what you said too, Brian. You know, the legacy of some of those overseas missions are very important, and those aren't going away. But we know through our interaction with the community and just some discussion that we're having with some other broadly based community groups, both in Chatham, Kent, and Windsor, Essex, that the need is only going to grow there. Yes. And we think it's important, at least for us to consider trying to keep some of those dollars more specifically in our community where we know there's need there. For sure. And just also to echo what Brian said, your feedback is important. You know, you continue to hear us say on a bunch of other areas how much we value and need your feedback. And this is a very important area too, where oftentimes we're so involved in certain levels of activity with a group or the community or something like that. We may not be zoomed out far enough always to see an opportunity, and when you see opportunities like that, hey, for sure, we want to hear that. So as we're considering where to kind of steer some of those funds, that we're making sure we're making as big an impact as we can. Right on. Great. Brian, is there anything else you think?
Nothing I can think of other than I would like to reiterate, if anyone has any specific questions or wants to provide some input, please, I'm open to a phone call anytime, and I'd be pleased to sit down with you or talk on the phone, email, whatever it may be. If you have questions, please contact me. We need to know what you're feeling, and as we try and bring our news and updates to you as well.
Yeah. Friends, thanks for your generosity, but more than anything, thanks for your resiliency. It's not been an easy year for any of us, whether we're from the side of the ministry that's doing operations to the extent that Brian is, or you, those of you who are just being the faithful presence, not just in our church family but our community too. I think that's going to become an even more important part of 2020. And so I just want to say thank you and encourage you to keep up the great work there. Brian, I just want to say thank you again to you. You're doing so much to help us in this area in a time where things are really seesawing a lot. We're grateful for that.
It's been a different year than normal. But
nothing.
Again, thank you, everyone, for your generosity and your continued support of the church.
Right on. Blessings. Listen, we hope you have a wonderful week, and we can't wait to see you either in person on Sunday or if you're taking advantage of our live stream, at least for you to see us on Sunday. Have a great rest of your week.